In the darkest corner of the galaxy, far from any law or kindness, a secret auction was taking place. The air was heavy with smoke, heat, and the smell of fear. Strange creatures from many planets sat in the crowd, all watching the stage with greedy eyes. Some wore fine clothes, others looked like hunters, but all of them came for one reason: to buy flesh. Caged under bright lights stood the ones for sale, alien beings, once proud and free, now locked in metal bars like animals. They had numbers, not names, and each one had a price. Some screamed, some cried, others just stood silent, broken inside. And then, they brought her out. The crowd gasped, and some even stepped back. She was taller than any being there, over 10 feet, with skin that glowed like moonlight on water. Her hair fell like silver ropes, and her eyes, deep and sad, looked far away, as if she could still see her lost world. The slaver pulled her forward with chains too small for her arms. "She's the last of her kind," the auctioneer shouted. "Too big to breed, too strong to tame." A few laughed, some booed, others looked bored. "No use for her." Someone said, "Just sell her for meat." The auctioneer nodded. "Exactly," he said. "She's marked for slaughter." He raised a red tag and tied it to her cage. The tag meant one thing: she would be cut, chopped, and sold part by part. The giantess did not scream, she did not cry. She only looked at the crowd like someone who had already died inside, but one man in the back did not look away. He stood still, wearing a long coat and a hood that hid his face. Unlike the others, he had no anger in his eyes, no hunger, no greed. He just watched her, quietly, like he was remembering something long forgotten. The auctioneer shouted again. "Starting bid, 5,000 credits." No hands were raised. 4,000, he said. 3. Still, no one moved. "Too big," someone laughed. "She'll break your house." "Too wild," said another. "She'll kill you in your sleep." 2,000. The auctioneer tried again, sweating now. The crowd had lost interest. They didn't want a giant who couldn't be used, couldn't be tamed, couldn't be bred. Then the man in the coat stepped forward. He walked slowly to the front, pulled out something from his pocket, and held it high. It was a coin, old and dirty, with a symbol almost lost to time. Some of the older creatures in the room froze. "That's a war coin," one whispered. "From the Fire Age. Worthless," another said. "Just history trash." But the auctioneer went silent. He looked at the coin, then at the man, then at the giantess. "This is not enough," he said, confused. "We deal in credits." "I claim her," the man said calmly. "Under the old law." Gasps filled the room. The old law was ancient, almost forgotten. It said that if a person gave a war coin and made a life claim, the auction had to stop. The seller must hand over the slave, and no one could stop it. The auctioneer's face turned red. "That law is dead?" he snapped. "It still lives," the man replied. "The coin proves it." He walked to the cage, and the guards moved to block him. But the auctioneer raised his hand, stopping them. He turned to the giantess. "What will you do with her?" he asked. "She's cursed," someone in the crowd hissed. "Dangerous," said another. "Let her go, and we all die." The man stepped closer, looked up at her face, and spoke gently. "What is your name?" The giantess did not answer. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. Tears filled her glowing eyes, but she stayed still. The man reached out slowly, not touching her, just showing his hand. "I am not your master," he said, "but if you want to leave, I will walk with you." For a moment, the room was silent. No one breathed, no one moved. The giantess looked down at him, her chest shaking softly. Then, she took one step forward, and the chains rattled loudly. She stopped beside him, standing tall, proud, and broken at the same time. The auctioneer whispered, "Take her and go before I change my mind." The man nodded, placed the coin in the auctioneer's hand, and together, man and giantess walked out into the dark. But in the shadows, a red-eyed hunter watched them leave, and whispered into his calm, "He claimed the cursed one." Alert the buyers. The marketplace behind them burned with whispers. No one spoke aloud, but everyone watched the man and the giantess as they walked away. The old coin had changed everything. No one had seen that law used in 100 years. No one believed it still mattered. Until now, the man's name was Ren, though he hadn't spoken it yet. He led the giantess through the dirt streets of the trade station. Guards looked their way but didn't stop them. Something in Ren's eyes warned them not to interfere. The giantess said nothing. Her chains still clinked around her arms, heavy and tight. But now, her steps were not slow, not tired. She walked with him like she was no longer a thing. She walked like a person again. He stopped near a transport ship parked in the shadows. It was old, patched with different metals, and barely holding together. But it was his, and it could fly. Ren pressed his hand to the side, and the door hissed open. "Get in," he said softly. She looked at the ship, then at him, still silent, still unsure. "I'm not taking you to another cage," Ren said. "I'm taking you away from this place." Slowly, she stepped inside. The floor creaked under her weight, and the lights flickered as the ship scanned her size. Ren followed her in, closed the door, and locked it from the inside. The engines hummed to life. The ship lifted, groaning under her weight, but still rising. Outside, angry voices shouted, but no one could stop them now. They were in the air, and the station shrank below. For a long time, neither of them spoke. Ren piloted the ship through the dark sky, heading toward empty space. The giantess sat on the floor near the back, her knees pulled to her chest. She had never been inside a ship before, not one that flew for her sake. After some time, Ren set the ship on autopilot and walked to her. He sat a few steps away, not too close. "My name is Ren," he said. "I was a soldier long ago." She watched him but said nothing. "That coin I gave them," he continued. "It's from a war I don't want to remember." He reached into his coat and pulled out another item, a small, broken necklace with a glowing stone. He held it in his palm. "This belonged to someone I couldn't save," he said. "She looked like you, not just in size, but in soul." The giantess lowered her eyes. Ren placed the necklace on the floor between them. "I saw you, standing there," he said, "and I saw her again. I didn't know if you'd understand, if you'd even want to live. But I couldn't let them kill you." For the first time, her lips moved again. A soft sound came out. Not words, but a breath filled with pain and wonder. Ren nodded. "It's okay. Take your time." Her voice finally came, dry and broken like wind through old stone. "My name is Elkara," she said. The sound of her own name made her shiver. She hadn't spoken it in years. Ren whispered it back. "Elkara." Outside the window, stars glowed like cold fire. The silence between them was no longer heavy. It was peaceful, like two ghosts had finally found each other in the middle of nowhere. Elkara looked at her chains, then at Ren. He saw the question in her eyes. He stood, pulled a tool from his belt, and knelt beside her. "May I?" he asked. She nodded once, slowly. Ren worked carefully, unlocking the chains with steady hands. The metal hit the floor with a loud clank. Her arms were free. She stared at them, shocked, not knowing what to do with her hands. He didn't move away. "If you want to leave," Ren said, "I won't stop you. But if you stay, I'll protect you." Elkara touched her wrists gently, feeling the skin. She had forgotten what freedom felt like. She looked up at him, eyes glowing faintly in the dim ship light. "Why?" she asked, voice trembling. Ren stood slowly, looking out the window at the dark stars. "I've taken lives," he said. "I destroyed things I didn't understand. I can't fix the past, but maybe I can stop repeating it." Elkara said nothing. But this time she didn't look like a slave. She didn't look like an animal. She looked like someone remembering how to be alive. Suddenly, a red light flashed on the ship console. Ren rushed to it, pressing buttons, his eyes narrowed as he read the signal. "They found us," he said, voice tight. Elkara stood up, taller than the ceiling. Who? She asked. Ren turned to her. Slavers don't forgive, he said, and they don't forget. The ship shook, a sound like thunder growing closer, and in the distance, a hunter's ship locked onto them, charging weapons. The red light on the ship kept blinking. Ren's hands moved quickly across the control panel. Behind him, Elkara stood still, her glowing eyes fixed on the screen. A shape was moving fast toward them. A hunter ship, small and fast, built to kill and capture. They're already here, Ren muttered. He pulled a switch and the old engines groaned loudly. Elkara stepped forward, the floor shaking under her weight. Why are they chasing us? She asked. Because I embarrassed them, Ren replied. Because I took something they think they own. He turned to face her. They'll come with guns, nets, and fire, he said. They don't want you alive, Elkara. Not really. They want to make an example out of us. Elkara looked down at her hands, free now but still shaking. For so long, she had been silent still, a statue in a cage. Now she was awake and the universe wanted to destroy her for it. The ship jolted as something hit the rear wing. A blast, quick and sharp. We have to land, Ren said. This ship wasn't made for fights. Land where? She asked. Ren pointed to a planet on the screen. Half desert, half metal ruins. It's not safe, he said. But we can hide there. The ship dove through the planet's atmosphere. The heat made the metal scream, smoke filled the cockpit. And lights blinked in warning. Elkara held onto the side rails as the ship crashed through thick clouds. Below them, the land looked like a broken machine. Old factories, junkyards, and rusted towers filled the horizon. The ship hit the ground hard, sliding across metal plates and sand. Sparks flew as it came to a stop, broken but not destroyed. Alarms rang, but Ren shut them off. We're alive, he said, coughing barely. They stepped outside. The air dry and heavy. Ren grabbed a backpack, tools, and a small energy rifle. Elkara walked behind him, her steps loud, her eyes watching everything. The ground was covered in pieces of forgotten wars. Shields, armor, burnt flags. This place, she whispered. It remembers pain. So do we, Ren replied. Now let's move. They entered the ruins of a giant factory, the roof broken open to the sky. Inside, machines lay dead, silent for 100 years. They found a hidden corner behind metal walls. We rest here, Ren said. At least until night. Elkara sat against a cold wall. Her arms around her knees, her body was strong. But her soul still ached. Ren handed her a drink pack. It's sweet, he said. Try it. She sipped, then blinked, surprised. This taste. I remember something. She closed her eyes. A garden, tall trees, my mother's hand. Ren stayed quiet, listening. Memories were fragile things. He didn't want to break hers. Suddenly a sound echoed outside. Boots on metal. Ren jumped up, grabbing his rifle. Elkara rose too, her large hands curling into fists. The hunter had found them, only one, but dangerous. He wore black armor with red lines, a long-range cannon on his shoulder. You thought you could run, he said, his voice full of hate. You claimed the cursed one. She is not cursed, Ren shouted back. She's free, the hunter laughed. No one like her is ever free. He raised his weapon. Ren fired first, a quick blue shot. The hunter dodged, returned fire, and the beam scorched the wall near Elkara's head. She moved fast, faster than she had ever moved before. She ran toward the hunter, leaped with strength that shook the ground. He aimed at her chest, but she twisted mid-air. Her body hit him like a falling wall. They crashed to the floor, metal bending under them. The hunter tried to stab her, but she grabbed his arm and snapped it with one twist. He screamed, his weapon clattering to the ground. She stood over him, eyes glowing like fire. I am not meat, she said. I am not cursed. I am Elkara. Ren stepped forward. Watching her, she could kill him, right there, but she didn't. She let the hunter crawl away, broken and afraid. Tell them, she said. Tell them I remember now. The hunter limped into the shadows, leaving his weapon behind. Ren walked to Elkara, placed a hand on her arm. You saved me, he said. You saved yourself, she replied, her voice firm. Night fell slowly on the ruined factory. Stars blinked in the sky above the broken roof. They sat beside each other, quiet and tired. But something had changed. Elkara was no longer afraid. She was no longer a caged beast. She was a giantess reborn. And far above, in the cold sky, a new hunter ship turned and began its descent. carrying someone from Elkara's past, someone who knew her true name before even she remembered it. Night covered the broken planet in deep silence. The stars above were cold and far, like distant fires watching quietly inside the old factory. Elkara sat with her back against the wall. Ren worked near the shipwreck trying to repair a power coil. She looked up at the sky, eyes soft with memory. For the first time in many years, she felt her mind open, like a locked door slowly creaking. Images floated inside her like smoke in the air. A green field with golden trees, towers made of crystal and soft songs on the wind. "I remember a sky full of voices," she whispered. Ren turned from his tools, surprised by her words. "My people. We used to sing to the stars," she continued. Her voice was calm, almost like a dream. "When we were born, the stars gave us a name." Ren sat beside her. Quiet and still, she had never spoken this much before. Elkara placed her hand on the ground. "It was not always pain," she said. "We were protectors, not monsters." Ren nodded slowly. "I believe you," he said. She looked at him, her face strong but sad. "I was a child when they came," she said. "Your kind, with ships and fire. We didn't fight at first, we tried to talk, to welcome, but they feared you," Ren said softly. "Yes," she replied, "and fear becomes fire." She closed her eyes. "I saw my mother stand in front of them, tall and proud. And I saw her fall." Ren reached into his jacket and pulled out the glowing necklace again. Elkara gasped, her hand rising to her throat. "This," she said, "this is from the Star Garden." "It was hers," Ren said. "Your mother dropped it before she—" He stopped, unable to finish. Elkara held the necklace like a lost piece of her soul. "I thought it was gone," she said, her voice trembling. "I thought I was the only one who remembered." Ren watched her carefully. "Elkara," he said gently, "do you know what this means?" She nodded, eyes wet. "If the necklace survived, others might too." Suddenly, the ship's damaged radar beeped weakly. Ren ran to the console, checking the signal. Elkara stood, alert again, her tears drying into fire. "What is it?" she asked. "Someone's nearby," Ren said, "but it's not a hunter. It's a signal." Repeating. "Old language." Elkara walked over, her glowing eyes scanning the screen. The words were broken, scrambled, but she knew them. "It's a prayer," she said. "A calling from the old world." Ren turned to her. "Could it be a trap?" "Maybe," she said, "but it could also be one of us." Ren adjusted the signal range. The location showed a nearby mountain, an old mining station. "Long abandoned. If you want to go," he said. "I'll go with you." "No," Elkara said softly. "You've done enough. I must face my own stars now." Ren hesitated, but saw something new in her face. She was no longer just remembering, she was becoming. She stepped out into the cold night, the necklace glowing at her throat. The path to the mountain was quiet. Metal bones of old machines lay half buried in sand. Every step echoed with memories. When she reached the station, she found the source of the signal. A small tower, broken and bent, but still humming. Elkara touched the panel and it lit up under her hand. A blue light floated above it, and then a voice, old and soft, spoke her name, Elkara, child of Echo, daughter of the fifth song. Her breath caught in her throat. "That voice," she whispered. "It's my aunt. She's alive." The message played again. "I am safe. I sleep under the mirror moon. Follow the stars." Tears ran down her cheeks. She turned and looked back toward the ruins. Ren stood far below, watching her from a distance. He raised a hand and she raised hers too. He didn't need to come closer. He knew she had found something important. Her purpose, her direction, her hope. She returned to the factory, her face calm. "There are others," she said. "One of my blood is alive. She is hiding, calling to me." Ren smiled. "Then we go find her," he said. He held out a map. "I scanned the moons last night. This one," he pointed. "It's cold, quiet, and has no lights." Elkara touched the spot on the map. "Mirror moon," she whispered. She looked at Ren with something close to joy. "Let's go," she said. "Let's bring the stars back, but far away." In the darkness of space, a secret eye blinked awake. The old systems of the slavers had tracked the signal too, and they had just sent a message of their own. "Target located, send the collector." The ship flew quietly through space. The stars outside the window looked calm, but inside the ship something heavy was growing. Elkara sat in the cargo bay holding the glowing necklace in her hand. She had not spoken much since they left the factory ruins. Ren was in the cockpit, eyes locked on the black road ahead. But his mind was somewhere else. Something old was waking in him, something he had buried for years. He remembered fire, he remembered screams. He remembered standing in a field of tall glowing trees, watching them burn, and a tall woman with silver hair and a soft voice, holding a child behind her. Ren's hands tightened on the controls. He had seen that woman again just hours ago, in Elkara's memories. And now he knew the truth. He was there when it happened. The door behind him opened slowly. Elkara stepped in, her large frame silent, her eyes gentle but sharp. "You're hiding something," she said. Ren didn't turn, but his voice was steady. "Yes," he said. "I am. I felt it," she said. "When I spoke of my mother, your face changed." Ren stood up slowly, turned to face her. "I didn't know it was her," he said. "Not then," Elkara tilted her head. "Explain." Ren walked to the back of the ship, opened a storage box. He pulled out a black case, opened it, and inside was an old photo. It showed soldiers in armor, standing next to a fallen tree made of crystal. One of them was him, a younger version, clean, proud, blind to truth. "I was a part of the Ember Division," he said. "We were trained to clear planets, to prepare them for mining, colonization. They told us this world was wild, full of dangerous life, no intelligent species." Elkara's hands slowly curled into fists. "You burned my world," she said. "I helped them," Ren whispered. "I followed orders. I didn't question. I didn't look deeper. Until it was too late." She stepped forward, towering over him. "Do you remember the tall woman?" she asked. "The one who shielded a child?" Ren nodded, his voice cracking. "I didn't pull the trigger," he said, "but I watched it happen." "That child," Elkara said, her voice low, "was me." Ren dropped to one knee. "I'm sorry," he said, his head lowered. "I can never undo it." Silence filled the ship. Elkara closed her eyes. Her breath was slow, like wind moving through broken glass. "You could have left me in the cage," she said. "You could have walked away, but you didn't." Ren looked up. "I saw you," he said, and for the first time, I saw what I had done. I couldn't let history win. She turned away, walked back to the cargo bay, but she didn't shout, didn't strike him. She sat in silence, her heart torn between pain and something else, understanding. Later that night, the ship shook gently. They were close to the mirror moon. Ren brought the ship down into orbit. He turned to Elkara. "There's something else," he said. "You need to see it." He opened a hidden drawer beneath the floor. Inside was a recording disc, dusty and locked. "I've carried this for years," he said, "but never played it." He placed it on the console, and the ship's screen lit up. A video appeared, fuzzy, damaged, but real. It showed the moment her people stood at the edge of fire. And in the center, Elkara's mother speaking calmly to human soldiers. "I offer peace," she said in the video. "I offer voice." The video glitched, then showed the moment of betrayal. Flashes, screams, and silence. Elkara turned away, tears burning her cheeks. "She was not weak," she said. "She was strong enough to speak even when her enemies pointed weapons at her." Ren stepped back. "I don't ask for forgiveness," he said. "Only a chance to walk beside you. Not as your savior, but as your witness." Elkara breathed deeply. She looked at him, not as a soldier, not as a killer, but as a broken man trying to become something better. "I do not forgive you," she said, "but I will walk with you until my people rise again." But far beneath the surface of the mirror moon, a machine lit up, a voice echoed through the ice. Subject Elkara confirmed, initiate awakening protocol. The mirror moon was cold. Snow fell slowly from the black sky, as if the stars were shedding tears. Ren and Elkara walked across the ice-covered surface toward a tall mountain. Below it, hidden by snow and time, was something ancient, something waiting. Elkara held the necklace in her hand. It guided her not with words but with warmth. Every time they took the right path, the stone glowed softly like a memory breathing, but someone else was also coming far behind them. Moving like a shadow through the cold was a man in red and black armor. His name was Vial, a hunter, yes, but more than that. He was the one who pulled the trigger. He was the one who killed Elkara's mother. Vial did not speak, did not run. He followed with calm steps, not to capture but to finish a story, one he started long ago. Ren and Elkara reached the mountain's base just as the sun vanished. They found a cave shaped like a half-open mouth inside. Glowing lights on the walls flickered to life as Elkara stepped in. Ancient machines whispered and hummed, recognizing her blood, her breath, her presence. "This place knew me," she said softly. "It was built by my mother's people." She walked ahead, tall and strong, no longer just a survivor, now a symbol. But as they reached the center of the cave, a sharp sound echoed behind them, metal boots, a blaster charging. Ren turned, gun ready, but Elkara raised her hand. "Don't," she said, and stepped forward alone. Vial stood at the entrance, his face covered, his weapon aimed low. "I wondered if you would remember me," he said. "I never forgot you," Elkara replied, her voice shaking, but not with fear. "With control, you were just a child," he said. "You shouldn't have seen that day. You shouldn't have made it out." Elkara walked closer. "You called my mother weak, didn't you?" she said. "You called her foolish for showing mercy." "She was weak," Vial said coldly. "She had power, and she chose peace." Elkara stopped a few feet from him. "And what did you choose?" she asked. He raised his gun. "I chose to obey orders," he said. "And I would do it again." Ren stepped forward, but Elkara held out her arm. "This is mine," she whispered. Ren stopped, watching. This was not about revenge, this was something older. Deeper, Vial fired, the bolt flew at her chest, but it stopped mid-air. Floating, burning, then fading. Elkara didn't blink. The necklace around her neck glowed like fire. "You don't get to decide my story anymore," she said. She reached forward, not to hit, not to kill, but to touch his chest plate. And when her fingers met the armor, it melted. Vale gasped. Falling to his knees, he dropped his gun. His faceplate broke, and for the first time, she saw his eyes, old, tired, and empty. You've become one of them," he said. "Not a monster, a legend." "No," Elkara said. "I've become myself." She turned away. "Go," she said. Vial didn't move. Ren stepped beside her, confused. "You're letting him live." Elkara looked up at the glowing ceiling. "My mother had power," she said, "and she chose peace." "I finally understand why." Vial crawled away into the shadows. Broken, defeated, but alive, his name would never be spoken in pride again. Only in shame. The machines in the cave came alive. From the ground, a circle of light rose. Elkara stepped into it. A voice spoke, not from speakers, but from the stone itself. "Daughter of Echo, are you ready to remember?" Elkara nodded. The light wrapped around her, showing images in the air, giants walking in peace, her people laughing, singing, flying through the sky, and then the fire. The ships, the betrayal. Ren stepped forward, tears in his eyes. He saw the truth, not the version told to soldiers, but the real one. His people had not found an empty world. They had destroyed a peaceful one. The light faded. Elkara stepped out. Stronger, clearer. "I remember everything," she said. "I am not the last. There are others." Ren looked at her. "Then let's find them," he said, but deep under the cave, something stirred. The collector had arrived, not a man, not a machine, but something built to wipe out what the past tried to preserve. And it had Elkara's name in its memory core. Target, awakened giantess, status, must be erased. The cave grew quiet. The light faded from the walls, and Elkara stood in the center. She had remembered her past, her name, her family, her people, but now, something darker had awakened too. Ren walked toward her, his steps slow. He could feel it in the air, the weight of something ancient. Not made by her people, a machine, deep below the ground, a machine built to erase. The collector, it did not speak, not with words, but they both felt its presence. The mountain rumbled gently, far beneath their feet. Metal arms stretched and wires hissed. A system that had been sleeping for centuries was now alive. Ren checked his scanner. A red circle pulsed on the screen. "Whatever it is," he said, "it's coming fast." Elkara looked toward the far tunnel. "I know," she whispered, "it remembers me." They ran together, following glowing signs carved by her ancestors. Each step brought them closer to the mountain's heart. The walls changed from stone to metal. From natural to built, this place was once a sanctuary, but it had been turned into a cage by unknown hands. They reached a chamber filled with statues, each one shaped like Elkara, tall, proud, peaceful. Ren stopped and stared. "These are your people," he said. "Maybe not," she answered, her voice shaking. "Maybe they are." "My family." She stepped toward one statue, her hand brushing the smooth stone. The eyes of the statue lit up, and then, so did the rest. A hidden message filled the air. A soft voice from the past spoke in the old language. Elkara closed her eyes to translate. "If you hear this, daughter of Echo, we did not vanish, we went to sleep. We wait for your voice to wake us." Her hand trembled. "They're alive," she said, "somewhere on this moon. In stasis chambers." Ren moved to a nearby console, trying to read the ancient symbols. Suddenly, the chamber shook violently. From a wall of stone, something massive broke through. It was the collector, taller than Elkara, made of black metal and red lights. Its arms were long and sharp, its face cold and eyeless. It scanned the room, found her, and spoke a single word through static. "Error!" Ren aimed his weapon and fired. The shot hit the machine's chest but bounced off like dust. The collector didn't even flinch. It raised one arm and sent out a sonic blast. Ren flew back, hitting the wall hard. Elkara ran to him. He was breathing, but barely. "I'm okay," he gasped. "Stop it." "Before it destroys them too," she turned back. Facing the machine alone, it aimed its weapon at her. She didn't move. Instead, she sang. A soft, broken melody in the voice of her mother. The voice of her ancestors. The same songs the stars once echoed back. The statues around her began to hum. The light in their eyes grew stronger. And the cave itself began to sing. The collector fired. But the blast stopped mid-air. Frozen in golden light, Elkara's body glowed. The necklace pulsed with energy. And from deep beneath the mountain, crystal towers rose. Pods opened slowly one by one. Her people awoke. Tall beings with glowing eyes and soft hearts. The last of the starborn giants. The collector took a step back. Surrounded now by the very beings it was created to destroy. Elkara raised her hand, not in violence, but in command. The statues released their energy in one final burst. The collector screamed in static and fire, and then collapsed into dust. Silence returned. The mountain stood calm. Elkara dropped to her knees, tears running freely. They were not gone. She was not the last. Ren limped toward her, smiling weakly. "You did it," he said. "No," she replied. "We did it," she helped him stand. Behind them, her people gathered, blinking in the light. One of them stepped forward, an elder woman with a soft voice. "Elkara," she said, "daughter of Echo." Elkara embraced her, and for the first time she didn't feel alone. They built a beacon that day high on the mirror moon, not to call for war but to call the stars, to remind the galaxy that peace still lived. And when travelers passed by and asked who lived there, they were told of a giantess who once was caged, but rose to become a voice for her people, the one who was too big to breed, too strong to tame, too proud to slaughter, now known forever as the one who remembered, and the one who sang her people awake.